Good morning, expats and international students. Welcome to my channel, Good Morning Expat, and welcome to Lisbon, the beautiful capital city of Portugal, located on the Atlantic coast. This beautiful coastal hilly town is my destination for the summer holidays 2022. I am going to show you some of the major tourist attractions in this city, starting from the Belem Tower, which is what you can see behind me, which is a 16th century fortification created for disembarkation and embarkation of Portuguese explorers. One very iconic location when it comes to Lisbon. This is what you can see behind me, and this is what we will explore today. So let's get this tour started. Right next to the Belem Tower, you can find the Combatants Museum, which is made in the memory of the various martyrs. And right next to it, there is also the chapel where you can stop by to pray and also see the tomb. And then as you walk further, you'll visit another waterfront from where it's also possible to take kayaks and sailing boats if you fancy some water-based activities. It's the month of August and it's peak of summer here in Europe, but compared to some other countries, the weather here in Lisbon is quite pleasant. In fact, the max here is going to be 28 degrees today with partly cloudy weather, so actually it's quite pleasant to walk around. All around the year, in fact, the weather in Lisbon is quite mild thanks to it being on the seaside. Here, if you head out in the morning, you can also stop at the Cafe de Forte, which you can see behind me, for a quick bite for lunch or even to spend a few hours over a nice cocktail. And it's late afternoon now, and it's very sunny at this point, and therefore the Belem Tower is even more beautiful to look at. And like in Asia, here you can also take these tuk-tuk or auto rickshaw-like rides, which are very convenient and ultra pleasant for the beautiful weather that Lisbon has to offer. When you're visiting the Belem Tower, another monument worth visiting is the Monastery of Eronimo, which is what you can see right behind me, which is this very iconic structure. And right next to it is also the Musée de Marina, which is another famous iconic thing to visit here when you are in the Belem neighborhood. So, destination number 2 on this first day in Lisbon, and I am here in the Castelo de Sao Jorge, or the Sao Jorge Castle, which is a famous castle located on the tallest of the 7 hills surrounding Lisbon. Lisbon is often called the city surrounded by 7 hills, and this particular castle is located on the tallest one of them. And of course, that is the reason for some of the best views, some of the best panoramic views of the city that you can get from here. You can purchase the ticket online to get access to this area, from where you can of course get access to the best views, or they can also be purchased outside at the ticket office if the queue is not very long. In my case, since I came over here close to the golden hour, close to the later hours, it was quite easy to buy the ticket Surplus, so at the office itself, and it costed 10 euros, which gives you access to this area and also the castle as well. This place is a must visit when you are in Lisbon. So day 2 on this summer trip in Lisbon, and today I'm going to go to the beautiful city of Sintra, which is a nearby coastal town, which is a must visit when you're visiting Lisbon, and it is at a 30-minute train ride from Lisbon. So now I'm headed to the station from where I'm going to take this direct train, which is going to get me to Sintra in 30 minutes. And in the meantime, some logistics info. So how did I get here? Well, I took the ticket with Belem Airlines, which is one of the low-cost airlines operating here in Europe. So I flew from Paris. First I flew from Milan to Paris, and then from Paris to here, which was a direct flight of about 1.5 hours, direct from Paris to Lisbon. And it costed me around 200 euros, which is not a bad price considering it is the peak summertime period. And then, of course, over here, you can take day passes. You can also use the Uber, which is really cheap over here compared to some other major European capitals. So if you compare the Uber prices kilometer-wise from Paris or Milan, then the prices are dirt cheap. So at some points, if you are a couple of people, if you're like 3 or 4 people, just like our group, then the Uber rides are going to cost you less than the public transport rides. So that is amazing. That's Uber amazing, I can say. And then there are other services also like Bolt, and also the local ones which you can kind of call as well. And where am I staying? So I took this hotel, which is a 4-star property called the Azores Lisboa Hotel, which is part of the Azores, as it is called in Portuguese, the Azores group. And it's a super fine property, very new building containing 12 floors, and we got the room on the 12th floor, so with super panoramic views of the city side of, not the seaside unfortunately, but of the city side of Lisbon. And the price was quite competitive considering that it's a 4-star and the deal included breakfast as well. And I recommend this property highly. Why? Because it's right next to the metro station Praia da Espanha, and that has a direct link to the city center. So which is the Baixa Shadow station. If you want to get to the center with a direct metro connection, it's just 5 stops away from Praia da Espanha, and therefore this property has a big location advantage. It is not in the center, so the prices are not of the central area, but then it's a super fine 4-star property, new building, amazing rooms, super clean, super breakfast, and location wise it's a big winner for sure. So I highly recommend it. The highlight of the visit to Sintra is the Palace of Pina, and that is where I am, which is situated at a very tall hilltop here in Sintra. To get here, you need to take bus number 434, which is designed for tourists, and it's the main line connecting the two main palaces that you're going to visit on this day trip in Sintra. This particular palace hosts features, of course, the Manuline architecture, the Portuguese Manuline architecture, and resembles a fairy tale palace, basically. So it's quite a charming place to be in. The temperature here is comparatively lower than Lisbon, so overall it's a very pleasant trip, and you wouldn't feel the heat of the sun as much as you would in Lisbon, so that's an add-on. Another major highlight of this location is, of course, these viewing platforms from where you will get some of the best views of Sintra. So the pine forests, lush green spaces that you can partly see behind me, and all of the scenic beauty that is part of the attraction here in Sintra, apart from all the historical monuments and the wide variety of structures that you can visit here. They say that a one-day trip is fine if you want to visit the main attractions, particularly the Moorish and the Pina Palace. But then Sintra has more to offer, so you can actually stay here as well and plan a trip for 2 to 3 days too. There are many structures that you can visit, so there's a lot to see. Of course, easier to go by car, but the tourist facilities here, for example, the city bus, which is 20 euros per person, or the tourist line, which is this 434, which costs 11 euros, which is what I took, is also very convenient if you want to visit the main attractions. Of course, if you have your own car, then it will be a lot more easy. And in this location, of course, you can already explore the Moorish castle. So if you do not have the time to get there just like me, you can get a glimpse of it right behind me from this location itself. In any case, it is more beautiful from this angle than being there at the castle itself. And the second stop here in Sintra is the National Palace of Sintra, which is what we're going to visit now. And on the way to the palace, you can find some interesting souvenir shops. And the one most interesting for me was their cloth collection. So there are many souvenirs that you can buy in pure cotton, which could be napkins, towels, tablecloths, and so on. And they seem to be of a very good quality and are very reasonably priced. So if you want a souvenir suggestion from me, this is what I recommend. And of course, there is, if you want something very iconic from Portugal, there is all the tile work and blue pottery that you can also purchase over here, which comes in all types of shapes, sizes, and forms. So from cutlery to plates, to kitchenware, to decorations, a lot of things are made using this beautiful art that comes from Portugal. The Palacio Nacional is also an important structure here in Sintra, which you will definitely visit during your day trip here. And this is one of the oldest historic house museums, and it features the famous Manuline and Moorish Portuguese architectures. Some logistic details that I missed giving earlier. are the ticket costs for these two locations. So the Palacio Nacional would cost around 10 euros for the entry ticket, and the main palace that we saw before, which is the Palace of Pina, the entry ticket there was of 13 euros. We booked it online, so on the online bookings there was a 5% discount, so I highly recommend you to do that in advance. And if you cannot do that in advance like me, you can do it on spot too. But then booking it online, of course, gives you a slight cost advantage with this 5% discount versus booking it on spot. If you cannot for any reason book online, then of course there is the ticket offices there, the ticket counters, but the queue is long. So booking online definitely gives you an advantage. I promised the pristine beaches of Portugal, and here I am in one of them, which is very popular and very close to the city of Lisbon. This is called the Carcavelos Beach that you can see behind me, so well, partly behind me. And this is one of the most famous touristy beaches, by which I mean that it has a lot of facilities here. Showers, bars, restaurants. It's very kids friendly and family friendly as well. So here you can come peacefully with your families and we have some excited tourists as well. So here the vibe is really good. It feels very safe. There are all the facilities that you need to have at the beach. Like I said, public showers, public toilets, lots of bars and cafes to eat as well. And this is a great place to spend your day when you are in the city of Lisbon. So the second day on the beach, and today I am at the Torre beach, which is called Praia de Torre. And this is a smaller beach compared to the nearby Carcavelos Beach, which is a very important one, which is where I was yesterday. And this particular beach is separated from the Carcavelos Beach by this monument, which is the Forte de Sao Jorge da Barra, which is an ancient fortress. I believe it must have been used for guarding the coast. And this structure gives a kind of shelter to this Torre beach because of its imposing size. There's a little bit of windbreak, and therefore the waters here are a little bit more calm than the Carcavelos beach, and also there is a windbreak, like I said, so the wind is not that harsh as it is at the Carcavelos beach. But the Carcavelos beach is also used as a surfing spot, so of course it has to have that kind of a wavy vibe. But then here at the beach, the Torre, it is more calm, so it is more family friendly, kids friendly, and also friendly for beach amateurs like me. So you can enjoy behind me the scenic views, turquoise blue waters, crystal clear waters, and then soft white sand, and very clean and full of facilities like bars, restaurants, public showers, toilets, and so on. So very convenient place to come. So here they have the public showers. You can see that people are cleaning themselves off after taking a refreshing dip at the sea. And then here is the sea, my friends. So you can enjoy these amazing scenic views, and then as you turn around, you get the magnificent view of the fort. An Uber ride from Lisbon would cost between 15 and 20 euros to this location. So if you want to travel by car, then it is easy peasy to get over here. But there is also the public transport facility available. So you can take the train from Lisbon and get off at the Carcavelos train station, and then you can walk to this place and also to the Carcavelos Beach. It's about 15 to 20 minutes from the train station. So if public transport plus walking is your option, then that is the way to go, and the ticket costs like 2.5 euros per person per way, so it's not that expensive. If you are a group of people like in our case, then the Uber will cost actually a bit less. As in most cases here in Lisbon, like I have explained before, the Uber rides here are like in the mass market category, so there are many rides available and at very cheap cost. So we have paid as less as 3 euros for some rides. So in case of 3 to 4 people, in fact, it's less expensive than public transport. So well, yes, these are the two ways to get to this beach. The summertime temperatures are beautifully mild. So today it's 25 degrees, super mild, super comfortable, and the wind chill is there a little bit because we mustn't forget that we are at the Atlantic. So this is not just a sea, but this is the Atlantic Ocean behind us. So therefore the currents cause, of course, the wind speed. So it's like 25 kilometers per hour of wind speed today, but that is normal for the Atlantic beaches. So those of you who are familiar with the Atlantic coast of France and then also Portugal, they know what I mean, but it's not uncomfortable at all. So you can find a good cozy spot over here to lay your beach mats, and then spend a great beach day over here, my friends. And because Portugal is very culturally connected to Brazil, here you can find some very nice spots to savor exotic fruit, okay, including the pineapple, which are super tasty over here. And you can find several spots where you can have fresh pineapple juice, which is served inside the pineapple as well. And I'm going to savor one right away and show you right away. So here is my pina colada, of course, on another level, because like I said, it is served within the pineapple, and then you also get several freshly cut slices of the pineapple as well. So this is like a mini pineapple festival going on in my hands right now, and this thing costed 10 euros, slightly on the pricey side, but given the health benefits of pineapple and given the fancy way in which it is served, it's worth a go. And now it's time for the next must-do activity when you are in Lisbon, which is to get on the Tram 28. Now, the one route that is recommended for tourists is really busy. So we tried to do that yesterday, but the queue was really long, and the queuing time can be as long as 2 hours. So we are doing an alternative route, which is not the most touristy one, so to say, but then you still get to ride on the famous tram number 28. And it's an iconic thing about Lisbon because the trams, they pass through really narrow streets, and often they navigate up and down the hilly landscape of Lisbon. And so it's quite an experience to sit on one of these trams, not just 28, but any of those navigating in the urban area of Lisbon. So do not miss it when you are in this beautiful city. By the way, I'm walking in the Praça do Comércio, which is one of the main squares here in Lisbon, which also offers some scenic views of the river. So it's right at the waterfront, and from here you can take the bus number 28 on one of the routes that I'm going to show you now. It's not the touristy one, like I said, but still not bad. So this is what you can do from here. It's also one of the main hubs transport wise, where you can get the tuk-tuks, buses, even the hop on and hop off services for tourists. And nearby there is also the metro station, which is called Praga da Comércio, if I'm not wrong. This evening completes my summer vacation here in Lisbon. So if you liked watching this video, do give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel Good Morning Expat. Hit the bell icon to stay updated about the next upcoming videos. And of course, as usual, keep coming back, like, share and love this video. Thank you very much for watching.